This Sunday is sometimes known as Good Shepherd Sunday, the fourth Sunday of Easter, when our readings tell us of Jesus Christ as the Good Shepherd and of ourselves as his sheep, known by name and called out and kept safe within our sheepfolds by him. So here are my reflections on the Good Shepherd for this Sunday. On Thursday evening at 8 o'clock, I stood outside my doorstep clapping. I live in a cul-de-sac, and from my doorstep I can see only a few houses. I could hear clapping and cheers coming from neighbouring streets, and the people in the house opposite ours also came out and clapped. From across the road we chatted, our weekly chat after our weekly clap. It was a lovely moment, and it struck me that although ostensibly we were clapping to thank the NHS and key workers, maybe we were also doing something else. Perhaps we were expressing in a simple and heartfelt way that we are still here. We're still together. We're not simply individuals and families in our homes, but some part of something larger, something beyond ourselves. We may not be able to see all the other people clapping and cheering, but somehow we are part of them and they of us. I found the readings for this week difficult and challenging. The passage from Acts 2 presents us with a picture of the early church which we, in lockdown, can only envy. Day by day, it says, as they spent much time together in the temple, they broke bread at home and ate their food with glad and generous hearts. How we would love to spend time together, how we would love to be able to eat together. With what glad and generous hearts would we meet? At the moment, we are like a flock of sheep who have been separated into individual pens rather than into the communal sheepfold. We are fearful of invasion by the coronavirus that enters, as Jesus puts it, to kill and destroy. Our hearts ache. We are afraid or anxious or lonely. It truly feels as if, in the words of the psalm set for today, that we walk through the valley of the shadow of death. As politicians begin to talk of how the lockdown might be eased gradually, it seems that for many of us, restrictions will still be in place for a long time. This is dismaying news. Where can hope be found? Where can we find the inner resources to keep us going and to endure cheerfully the continuing loss of freedom, family, the company of friends, being able to meet and worship together? I think the answer must lie in what Christ has done for us, in enduring himself the isolation and pain of the cross, in taking on himself the limits of human suffering, and choosing to go lonely, abandoned and afraid through the gate of death. Through him, all that separates us from life in all its abundance, all that separates us from the source of love of all the love in the world, all that keeps us apart from each other and from God in the prison of the self. Through him, all that is overcome. He went willingly into that great isolation in order that we might never be alone in it. In this time of being apart, that seems to be stretching out endlessly, longing as we do for it to end. Christ as the shepherd and guardian of our souls, as Peter puts it in his first letter, is with us. He walks through us through this time that feels like the valley of the shadow. And he sits beside us as we eat alone. He stands beside the beds of those in intensive care. And he is there clapping with us as we affirm that we are still here and still together. He is there in our moments of darkness, and he is there in those moments when we glimpse the light. Though we cannot be with our flock, he is still our shepherd, and he still knows and will never forget our name. When it is time for us to come out into the green pastures, he will lead us. And in the meantime, it is through him that, confined in our homes, we still dwell in the house of the Lord, in the abundance of that resurrection life that he came to bring us.